What's up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new episode of my podcast, Happy Days, with me, Callum Church. Now, for today's episode, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some of my tips and advice for how I stay productive. Because I'm a fairly busy guy, I've got a lot of things going on, and I need to stay productive within my day so that I get everything done, and also I'm a bit of a nutcase with productivity. I kind of get a bit of toxic productivity sometimes, and when I come to the end of the day and I haven't done anything, I feel really bad. So I need to stay productive, not only to get stuff done, but also to stop me hating myself, which is totally toxic, and I don't advise anyone to make themselves feel like that. That is something I have to work on. But in the meantime, this is how I stay productive to make sure that I get things done. So I've written down some of my sort of like tips and some of the things I do to stay productive. And the first one I've got on this list here is my phone/computer setup. Now, I've set up my phone so that I stay in the maximum amount of productivity while I'm on my phone. So this is something which my mate Jack Wettenstill gave to me as like an idea, and he set up his phone so that he had absolutely no apps on his iPhone. He kept them all in the apps library, and he didn't have any of the apps on his actual home screen. And the reason being for this is because a lot of the time, and I certainly started noticing this when he mentioned it, is that we subconsciously start just flicking through all these different apps. I might go onto my WhatsApp app to speak to someone about work or something like that, or ask someone for something about work. And then I'll come off the app and subconsciously, without even thinking, go instantly on the Instagram app and start scrolling. It's crazy how these things are so sort of like wired into our brains. And we don't even realise they're going on. And I can sit and scroll on Instagram for, 20 minutes, And if you do this at multiple points throughout the day, you've lost an hour if you do that 3 times, So, Jack recommended to me that I delete all the apps, and I actually get a productivity set up on my phone. So the only thing I've actually got on my home screen is my calendar, which gives me all of my things I need to do throughout the day. And then I have my screen time just directly below it. And when I'm talking about these things, I mean like the widgets that you can get. And this is on iPhone. I don't know about Android users if you can do any of this. But for anyone with an iPhone, I get the widgets up. So I get the calendar, which is showing everything that I need to do throughout the day. And then underneath that, I have my screen time, which shows me how long I've spent on all the different apps on my phone. And it's a bit of an aggressive way to tell me, Callum, get off your bloody phone. Particularly when it says that I've spent, a long period of time on Instagram or YouTube or something like that, just wasting my time. So that's what I do. And in terms of computer setup, what I do to stay productive when I'm on my computer, I mean, it's a work environment for me anyway. Like my computer's solely for work, really. Sometimes I'll use it to watch movies or Netflix or something like that in the evenings. But I use my computer only for work, so there's not too much which is really distracting me from work, except for the YouTube web app. So I have like a Chrome extension for my Chrome browser, which basically just gets rid of the recommended page on my YouTube. So I can only look at my subscriptions, or if I want to watch a video, then I have to search it up. So that way, whenever I'm on YouTube for work purposes, I don't get dragged into some, recommended watch pit of despair and watching videos over and over again. It just cuts all of that out, keeps the recommended page totally clear, and I don't have to worry about it. So the next thing that I've got on my list is work blocks. I work block out my entire day. Now, a work block is basically just a period of time that you block out during your day, which is meant for focused work, solely for work. So the way that I've sort of laid this out is, obviously I've got it set up in my calendar on my phone so that I can see all the different work blocks at the different times. And the way that I've done this is I've actually got it on a whiteboard just behind me here. And the way that I've set it up is I've got 4 work blocks throughout the day. So these are 4 blocks of the day where I can focus and get things done, and I'll allocate certain things from my to-do list into these blocks every day. So the way I've set it up is work block 1 is from 9 until 10:30. I'll have a 15-minute break, and then work block 2 is from 10:45 till 12:15. Again, another 15 break. And then I'll have 12:30 until 2, and then I have half an hour break for lunch, just to grab some food. And then work block 4 is from 2:30 until 4, and then I'll finish the workday at 4, which doesn't always happen. Sometimes things will drag on, or I need to get some stuff done, or I have a call with someone, or something like that. But this is just sort of period of time for focused work, and I'll allocate certain things from my to-do list. Now, the reason that I do this is because when you set yourself a deadline to do something, you're so much more better at doing it. I can't remember exactly what it's called. It's someone's law. So, someone came up with it. It's called so-and-so's law. Basically, it basically says that however much time we allocate to a task, usually we will find a way to fill that amount of time to get that task done. So if you allocate yourself 10 weeks to get your summer holidays work done for school, chances are you'll put it off and put it off and put it off for the whole 10 weeks until you get to the night before you have to go back to school, and then you'll cram it all in the last minute. That's certainly what I did anyways. Or alternatively, if you set yourself just a couple days to get that amount of work done, or even just an afternoon to get that work done, chances are you'll get it done, because, obviously you're doing it on the last day of the summer holidays anyway, so we know we can get it done in a day, but we still feel the time to do that task. So if I allocate a certain amount of time to get a task done, chances are I will do it. I'll be motivated to do it, and I'll get it done in a much shorter period of time than you'd think. I had half an hour left of work block 1 to get this podcast planned and recorded, and I'm sat here doing it now at 20 past 10. So I'm 20 minutes and I'm already recording. 7 minutes into this recording, I'm smashing it. I'm getting it done. But that's not a lot of time to plan and record an episode. But you get it done still. If you set yourself that time period and that deadline to get it done. So that's sort of like the work blocks which I do. Outside of the work blocks, I incorporate habits into my day to make sure I stay productive. And this is pretty much like work blocks, but it's more specific. It's specific things I do every day as opposed to just a period of time for work. So every day I will, as you guys know, I'll talk about this almost every episode. I'll get up and I'll jump in the sea. At 4 o'clock every day, I'll get up and I'll go to the gym. What else do I do? Meditate in the morning, read in the morning. I have breakfast at the same time. I have a certain period of time for me to chill in the evenings. That's not really a habit, I suppose, but I'll get certain things done more or less every day. No more than 2 days missed in a row. Which is like a little rule that I live by. Don't miss 2 days in a row, otherwise you'll mess up the habit. That's how I stay productive. So, sometimes it can be quite hard to actively think about getting your exercise in for your physical health. But if you set a habit for it every day and you're on it every single day, and 4 o'clock is the allocated time in which you go to the gym, then you're so much more likely to stay consistent with that and be in better shape, and it keeps you productive. It keeps you, because when you have that allocated time, again, that is the amount of time you have to go to the gym, and that's that. And that's how you stay productive, by structure and, setting out timings and such. So habits is a massive way in which I stay productive. Next on the list, I've got the 2-minute rule, which is just a little rule which is like a productivity hack, which I use when I come to need to get things done that I don't want to do. And this is something which has come up by David Allen in his book, Getting Things Done. Now, the 2-minute rule is basically whenever you want to start a task and move from one task to another, basically just say to yourself and tell yourself that you'll just have to do that task for 2 minutes. Because the thing which is most difficult when it comes to getting things done and transitioning between tasks is that transition itself. It's not, the actual task itself, which is daunting and uncomfortable to do. The most difficult thing to do is to shift that level of inertia is that first bit of inertia. It's that getting the ball rolling, which is the most difficult thing. Think about it like pushing a car down a road, right? When you're trying to push that car at the very start, when it's from a standing start, you're pushing it and you're pushing it and pushing it, and it's hard, it's heavy, and you might just get the wheels rolling just a little bit, and then it becomes a bit easier, and then the wheels start turning a bit more, and it's easier, and then all of a sudden you're at a running pace and you're pushing the car running down the road with all the full momentum behind you. That just goes to show what it's like in a more visual and physical example of what it's like when we're trying to shift a task. If I want to start recording a podcast, that might be quite a difficult thing to get going with, because I have to sit here for 20 minutes to half an hour and waffle to myself about self-development and productivity and all these kinds of things, fulfillment. I have to sit here and waffle to myself, and trust me, it's a lot harder than it looks, guys. I know it sounds quite easy, but it's actually quite tiring and quite hard to do. What I'll do is I'll say, okay, I'll just sit down and I'll just plan out the first point of the podcast, or I'll sit down and I'll just set up my camera to record and get my mic out to record and such, and then once I just get that momentum behind me and I've started on the task, the rest of it just comes with it. You start flowing. Another example is reading every day. Sometimes I just do not feel like reading sometimes. I might have spent a long period of the day looking at screens and such, and I might be really overstimulated, and my brain isn't quite ready just to settle down and try and digest a book nice and slowly. It wants to watch an engaging YouTube video, or scroll on TikTok, or eat some food which is, super unhealthy for me, or something like that. I want to be stimulated. I don't want to sit and calm myself down. It's the same with meditation too. Sometimes it's quite hard if you try to meditate at the end of the day to actually sit down and calm yourself down, because you're so buzzed and everything in your head is just going round and round and round from the activities of the day. So what I do to settle down and read is I tell myself, okay, I'll just read 2 pages, and that's it. That's all I have to read. Read 2 pages, I can shut the book and call it a day, But a lot of the time, what happens is I'll read those 2 pages and I'll have that momentum behind me, and I'll think, hey, this ain't too bad. I'm going to keep reading for a bit. And then I'll read another page, I'll read another, and before I know it, I've read like 20 pages, So that's something which I use to get things done and to stay productive. Next on the list, I've got one main task for the day. This is something which I do every day to make sure that I'm productive. I basically set myself one main task, okay? And that is usually the most difficult or the most important task of the day, And I kind of say to myself, look, if you just get this one task done for the day, that's a good day. It's kind of just allocating the day to one single thing every day, because if we can get the most important thing done every day, or the most difficult thing done every day, think about how much better off we're going to be in a year's time. If you can do one really important thing every single day, then in a year's time you're going to be smashing it. Think about how far ahead in the game you're going to be, And this isn't much to do, just one task a day. This could be, just go to the gym, or this could be just get this episode recorded, today for me. It could be something like that. But if you just do these things every single day, then you're going to be smashing it, So I allocate one main task for the day, to the day, and if I get that done, then that's a success, and I can be happy with that and move on. A lot of the time I'm not, but this is just a rule that I live by. And then last on the list, I've got, if I don't enjoy something after giving it a try for a while, I just won't do it. Okay, and the reason why I do this is because it's quite pointless to actually try and go against your human nature. As humans, we do not want to do things if it doesn't satisfy us or give us some form of response or reward from it, And by pushing against that human nature, you are pushing against something which is almost inevitable. If you don't enjoy something, inevitably you're going to give it up, because, what are you doing it for? You're just like, in your brain's mind, you're doing it for no reason at all, because you don't get that reward or that response from it. So if I don't enjoy something for a long period of time, after giving it a good go and trying my best to get into it and get that momentum behind me, if it's not working for me, I will give up. because not only will I be wasting my energy, but I'll also be wasting my time, because I'm not going to get this certain thing done to the best of my ability. I'm not going to be, smashing it or anything like that. I'll be just doing it and I'll be grinding it. I won't be enjoying it. So that's almost kind of like why I took a break from the guest episodes. I do really enjoy the guest episodes, but there was just a period of time where I just wasn't enjoying them as much. I was in grind mode, not creative mode, and I just had to take a break from it. I'm back up and running with them, and I've got that passion for it again, and I've got just that intrinsic motivation to actually do it, So, another example of something I do, which is sort of like along the lines of this, is if I'm not enjoying a book and I've read a fair few chapters and I'm just not into it, I don't feel excited to read it, it's not drawing me in, I'll just close the book and give it a rest. I just won't read it. And an example of this is this book. It's An Organised Mind by Daniel Levitin. I started reading this at the start and it was quite good in the first few chapters, but then it just slowly just got a lot more difficult to read and hard to digest and long and just not that interesting to me. Maybe it might be something which I'll try and pick up again later at another time when maybe I'm better at reading or I'm more, my attention span's a lot better, but it just didn't do it for me. So I just decided I'm just going to shut it, call it a day and just leave it alone. And I'm happy I've done that now, because I could have spent days or maybe months reading this and allocating a lot of my time to reading this, and I wouldn't have enjoyed it, and I would have missed out on all the other books which I do genuinely really enjoy reading. And I would have missed out on that. So that's kind of why I do that. And with that, I think that's the end of this episode. So I hope you guys did truly enjoy it, as always. If you did, please consider leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, because it really does help the show. Also, make sure you follow me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is @callum.julie.church. Again, I do truly hope you did enjoy today's episode, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care, guys. So there you go, that's the end of the show. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe on your podcasting app of choice, so you can download and listen as each episode is released. If this episode helped you in any way, tell your friends, tell your family, maybe even leave a cheeky review on Apple Podcasts. It really helps the show. But that's all for now. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next episode, released shortly. Take care.